Audi is betting billions on Formula One. Their marketing roars across Miami. Yet their car sits 8th with just 2 points. The paddock watches for their next move, because something behind closed doors could change everything. Nico Hulkenberg has the speed. His Japan race pace was 10th fastest, but he started 19th after losing 6 places at launch. The data tells a different story than results show. A millisecond delay between turbo and battery erases positions before turn 1. But here is what the paddock is not talking about. An FIA rule from the 2026 regulations could grant Audi extra development tools if their power unit deficit is large enough. First evaluation might come after Miami, so the real question is whether 5 weeks of work built something real. Nico Hulkenberg finished every race, 0 points. In Japan, he was faster than 4 drivers ahead, yet started 19th. Gabriel Bortoleto reached Q3 twice, proving the chassis can fight. But every standing start tells the same story. Positions vanish before the first corner. The data tells a different story. In Suzuka, Hulkenberg finished 1 second behind Esteban Ocon. That gap was 15 laps in dirty air after a poor launch. In China, he missed Q3 by 0.02 seconds. 3 races, 3 standing starts, 3 identical losses. This is not coincidence. So why does speed disappear at the moment that matters? The answer lies in a component fans never see, a synchronization flaw between 2 systems under maximum load. Fixing it requires more than a quick adjustment. The next section reveals what happens inside the garage when engineers chase a millisecond. What the data logs show is a synchronization flaw at launch. The R26 turbo does not spool cleanly to match MGUK deployment. Combustion and electric power fail to merge instantly. A 0.2% delay costs 4 to 6 positions before turn 1. Frederick Binotto has been blunt. This is not a software patch. It requires long dyno runs to recalibrate 2 complex systems. The March schedule left no room for 72-hour cycles. A poor start traps the car in dirty air. Tire degradation rises. Strategy options shrink. So if the fix demands time Audi did not have, where did that time come from? The 5-week gap after Suzuka gave engineers their first real window. But the challenge was solving one problem without creating another. The next section reveals why Audi started this journey with a disadvantage no overnight work could erase. Audi entered Formula One's new hybrid era with a blank slate. Mercedes has refined its concept since 2014. 12 years of data Audi does not possess. Ferrari and Red Bull carry decades of knowledge. Honda spent 6 years learning. Audi started empty. The deficit is not just horsepower. It is energy deployment, drivability, brake-by-wire integration. Fred Vasseur has spoken about the steep learning curve for new suppliers. The number that matters is 1 second per lap. That gap covers multiple systems at once. Over Suzuka's 53 laps, 1 second per lap becomes nearly a minute lost. That is the difference between points and P14. Audi's challenge was learning a decade of lessons in compressed time. The next section reveals how Hinwil and Neuburg worked against the clock to turn data into speed. Inside Hinwil, engineers retuned the car to respond to the launch flaw. A new floor edge aimed to improve mechanical grip. In Neuburg, dyno sessions simulated Miami's layout. Both sites had to work in perfect sync. A chassis change in Switzerland could upset power unit behavior in Germany. Gabriel Bortoleto split simulator time between locations, bridging chassis and power unit data. The rookie's feedback impressed engineers. Harsh gear shifts causing rear instability needed fixing. That issue tied directly to torque delivery. Closing half the 1 second gap could move Audi from P14 to P10. Jonathan Wheatley departed 12 days after the opener. Binotto now manages team principal duties alongside technical roles. The most burdened person in the paddock oversaw gearbox fixes and the full team. So, even with the 5-week window, who would steer the solution onto the track? The next section reveals a regulatory wildcard. A little-known clause in the 2026 regulations could change Audi's season. Additional development and upgrade opportunities was written for this scenario. If a power unit falls behind, the FIA grants extra development tools. The first evaluation moved to right after Miami. The rule has 2 thresholds: A deficit between 2% and 4% unlocks one extra upgrade. 4% or more grants 2 upgrades plus extra dyno hours. Mercedes sets the benchmark. 2% equals about 10 horsepower. 4% equals around 20. If Audi qualifies for a DUO support, they gain development velocity no frontrunner possesses. The paddock consensus points to Audi and possibly Honda as likely candidates. Approval would let them attack the gap before natural evolution catches up. But if they fall short, the next section reveals what Miami must actually prove. Audi faces its toughest test in Miami. The sprint format gives 2 shots at points, but 2 chances for the launch flaw to resurface. Nico Hulkenberg knows the stakes. His rumored contract ties bonus to results. Gabriel Bortoleto has shown rookie composure. Yet both face the same challenge. Reduced practice time compounds pressure. Engineers have fewer laps to validate updates before qualifying locks the grid. If new parts introduce balance issues, there is almost no room to adjust. Success in Miami is not about podiums. It is about Hulkenberg holding grid position through turn 1. That validation matters more than immediate results. If Hulkenberg qualifies 12th and remains 12th after lap 1, the launch fix works. Binotto's "miracles are not possible" was realistic planning for a multi-year project. Miami is checkpoint 1. The next section reveals what Audi's trajectory really means. Audi's Miami moment arrives with everything on the line, not a podium. The true test is subtle. Can Nico Hulkenberg hold grid position through the first corner? That metric validates 5 weeks of work. If he does, the launch fix works. If not, the pattern continues. Mercedes leads with 135 points. Audi sits 8th with 2. The gap to points is 4 or 5 positions. That is what the launch problem costs every Sunday. Fix the start, and Hulkenberg's pace converts P12 into P8. 4 points would double Audi's season tally. The 2030 target remains because this was always multi-year. Miami is checkpoint 1. If Hulkenberg holds position through turn 1, the team gains confidence. The plan works on a real track. If not, the work continues without validation. In Formula 1, milliseconds write history. Miami will tell us if Audi finally learned how to start the race.